Well, howdy, folks. Welcome to another episode of Pondcast, where we're going to be talking about different ways to go fishing. Now, I thought it was unusual we were doing pondcasting from inside of a studio with a booth and headphones and microphone, but, you know, I never done any of that newfangled city fishing, so I thought a pondcast would be fun. Sir here in the booth, could you better explain to me what a pondcast is?
I'm Earl. I was told there was free bacon covered Fig Newtons in here.
You didn't answer my question, Earl.
Well, I didn't know I was going to be in one of these confangled recording session things.
We can't use that kind of language.
Confangled?
How? You said it again.
Confangled.
Three times in a row, thrice we have gone to inappropriate places. I'm not sure if I'm pondcast material.
All right. Well, what was your question again?
What the heck is a pondcast?
It's a podcast about casting in ponds.
Duh. I don't cast pods. I cast into ponds.
I know, but it's a special type of fishing. River fishing's different than pond fishing.
That's what I said. I said pondcast.
And there's algae in ponds. We got nitrogen that comes off the
farms. I'm concerned there's
and
algae
it creates
in
algae
you.
blooms in the ponds, and it messes with your hooks. It's a special type of fishing.
Then why are we indoors?
Well, because it's hard to record outside.
Why are we recording anything?
I thought this was your show. I just walked in here. Where's my bacon Fig Newtons? I'm out of here.
I think that's pretty good for that one, I think.
Okay.
We've had enough.
Put the plug in that one.
Enough of Pondcast.
Because we're doing environmental today, I tried to swing an environmental topic into that. Did you notice that?
You didn't think Pondcast was environmental enough?
No.
So you wanted to bring up algae blooms?
Yes, and nitrogen runoff. Yeah.
But Pondcast. You were like, that's not enough of the environment. We need more environment.
Yeah, I just threw it in there.
I like it.
All right, so
it'll work.
So we're not going to do podcast.
What is our podcast?
We are everything occupational health and safety related.
Everything.
And
how not to die at work.
I got a report that we're like in the over thousands in the downloads.
Which is awesome.
It baffles me that many people wanted to listen to a health and safety podcast.
What's also great is there's been repeat listeners.
We
have people that start and then go back and start
amazing.
Listening. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I mean, it shouldn't be amazing when you think about it. I don't know the statistics on how many Americans work, but there's a lot.
There's a lot.
I know there's a few people that work jobs.
I could say there's a few people
and
that work jobs.
So you'd think
That's
there
fair.
would be, like everybody has feet, right? That's why podiatrists don't go out of business.
Sure.
Dentists don't go out of business because
Except
everybody
for the
has
people without feet.
Yes, that's true. And I guess not everybody has teeth, but everybody started out with teeth. Right. And so that's why dentists don't go out of business.
Okay.
But you'd think that safety podcasts, worker safety podcasts, would be more popular.
I mean,
But everybody, they
we
already know everything.
We're the least popular people when you walk onto a job site.
Oh, yeah,
so we're probably also the least popular podcast.
By the way, that reminds me of our name. Let's do it. Ready?
It's the Evil Safety Dudes.
But
that
today,
is our podcast.
But today we are the
Evil
Safety Health Environmental Dudes. EHS is like the common title for us.
Evil Healthy Dudes.
EHS. When I first got started, or HSC, they mix up the letters. And when I first got started in safety, I was like, why is everybody saying I'm the new EHS guy or whatever? They're like, environmental health and safety. Like, environmental. I don't do environmental.
I don't know any environmental.
They're like, well, if we have environmental needs, you are. Okay. I was like, I thought I was just a safety guy. Well, you're the environmental guy, too.
Now you
is. Cool. Well, I hope we don't have any because I didn't study the EPA.
Is you is or is you ain't?
You got an OSHA question to ask me, but you got an EPA question. I'm phoning a friend.
Speaking of algae bloom, remember that story we were talking about when we took the OSHA 3095 and there was that family that mysteriously died all at the same time?
Okay, yeah.
There's the mom, the dad, the kid, and the dog. All of them just dead.
Right.
One of the reasons that they were trying to say that those people had died was that they had all accidentally drinking super contaminated algae-infested water.
Okay.
Because there was a massive algae bloom there, like a month, like documented a month before they hiked.
Drinking out of the pond?
Well, that's what they think.
Or it was swamp gases.
Well, so now the official, and I'm not buying it, like not at all. The official thing from the state of California is that these people died. All of them suddenly were overcome by heat exhaustion
UFOs.
at the same moment and died together.
Yeah, that doesn't line up. But
Not at all.
you're trying to take us back to our old podcast of conspiracy theories are us.
We've done that one.
Yeah. I
But
thought we
this
were
is
going
also-
back to safety.
Well, these are people who they died environmentally somehow. Nobody knows how yet though.
yeah, UFOs.
Well, now you're going away from.
They walked off the flat Earth,
and then fell onto
and
this
then
one.
but an air gust blew them back on the Earth, and they found their dead bodies. But they died while falling through space where there was no oxygen.
I mean, it makes sense. If the Earth was flat, there'd be like a hurricane all the way around us because of it's got to keep the atmosphere in, and
Yeah.
that blew them
Yeah.
back up, and they just
yeah, I'll go with
Right.
that one
Yeah.
over triple simultaneous heat exhaustion.
Well, yeah, so all
with
three of
multiple
them-
different sizes and shapes and
And the
hydration
dog.
levels. Yeah, that's a
totally different anatomy. They all
But-
supposedly all at the same time together. Like heck no,
So,
bothers me.
before we bring in our guests and get into it, what's new with you? What you been up to?
Oh, I'm very happy. It's mid-October, and I just came back from vacation, so I'm allowed to start eating 1 billion calories again.
Are you in a bulk?
I'm in bulk.
What does that cycle go? Is it months? Like
So
months
yeah,
of bulk?
I try to
months?
do mine in quarters.
Okay.
So I will. Oh man.
So 4 months you get to eat like a pig.
Well, I do about 4 months where I'm bulking. I'm this year, so
And you don't clean eat, so
most
you
of the time.
could just go eat a bunch of junk food if you wanted to, right?
Well, no, I eat pretty clean. When I usually do what's considered kind of a dirty bulk because I'll have a lot of extra fat. I usually won't add too much sugar, but like it's not like
That's an
super
entirely
strict.
different podcast. The whole dirty bulk.
Dirty bulk.
It's not appropriate.
So I'll do like my macro split will be, it's still pretty heavy on the carbs, but it's going to be mostly proteins and fats because I've noticed that's what my body responds better to. But this year I'm actually going to try to dial it back. I'm going to have less fat and more carbs. And
Okay.
it's a lot cleaner this year than it was last year. And last year I made it all up to 220 pounds in my bulk.
Well,
And
good luck to you.
this year I'm going to try to make it up to 230 pounds. By the end of my
Theoretically,
bulk.
it should be easy to hit those maxes during a bulk time, right? Because
Yes.
you're loaded up on calories,
You've
muscles
got
are bigger.
way more strength.
When you're cutting, it's probably not time to hit
Right.
your maxes, huh?
And I only cut for like 3 months, try to drop a little bit of fat at a time as I can. And then over the summer, I just try to see where my new norm is because I'm always adjusting with like my thyroid and all that.
So I got a
crap,
new
so-
podcast idea.
Let's stick with the one we got.
Yeah, but we could just like throw a whole like weird one where we just
Okay.
talk about like what we're into off the clock. Like
So it'd be
each-
like the
each
hobbies
get
podcast?
we each get a half hour. Yeah.
We just talk about our hobbies.
Yeah, because you could literally talk about bodybuilding for
Oh, yeah.
all day. Yeah.
For sure. Heck yeah.
And the other
Painting
stuff you're
minis,
into, cars,
guns,
yeah,
cars,
yeah,
computers,
hunting.
video games.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All day.
So I got to go do a wedding
Oh, yeah.
today.
You doing a wedding today?
Yeah, I'm gonna officiate a wedding. I'm gonna
Ooh.
go marry my friend
Very cool.
and his fiance, and it's cold though, so I'm gonna wear like long johns under my suit.
There you go. It's an outdoor wedding.
No, but it's in like this really pretty barn that's not insulated and
Ooh. Okay.
with the doors open in and out. You
it's
know,
pretty much an
it'll
outdoor
be
wedding.
chilly. Yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But it'll be pretty, and I'm gonna try not to be frozen. And
Good.
yeah.
When you come back, I'll just call you Elsa.
Okay.
what's
yeah.
up?
Well, if I was
Frozen.
Elsa, I could handle the cold.
Oh, true.
Yeah, she totally did not wear a coat the
Very
whole
true.
time.
Well, that
You
would
know.
yeah. Then again, that is you because you
Yeah.
got to go handle the cold.
Yeah, so
You
my
got this.
I'm gonna be layered up. But anyway, so I'm excited because this is episode 51,
51.
and it's the first time we're doing our actual role justice by bringing in environmental.
There you go. That's true.
So let me introduce our guest host today, Mr. Tyler Silverthorn. How are you, sir?
Hi guys, I'm doing good.
So we almost got you cracking up on the
Just
intro.
about.
Yeah.
We
One
were
of these
trying.
days we want to just crack up a guest where they can't contain it.
I don't know.
Wow.
I think more or less they're thrown so far off that they're just confused.
Well, so Tyler was smart and he did research and he listened to a couple of our podcasts before he came on, so he knew what he was getting into.
He knew what was coming up.
But we
he was
do have a
ready.
guest coming up, and I'm not going to say their name.
Okay.
They're a super serious professional, and I bet you they've never listened to one. And when they come, I bet you they're just going to be like shock and awe, like, what did I do?
What is happening?
Yeah.
Why did I sign up for this? This is terrible.
So, Tyler, you are a project manager for Impact 7G, is that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Project manager.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Would it be safe to say you're an environmental consultant?
Yeah, I think so. We handle a lot of different projects. So.
How do you speak to the environment to consult it?
It's
I'm
like a horse
person.
whisperer.
Yeah,
but for
whisper.
The environment.
just a whisper in the
He
trees.
takes samples out of the environment back to his lab, and then he talks to little pieces at a time, and then he puts it back, and then
So are they mostly
communicate it.
upset that they are now out of the environment, or are they happy because they can't travel on their own?
I don't really. They probably don't like being boxes or in coolers very much. But
Okay. I mean, that's fair, but I thought you talked to them. I was expecting more concrete
well, I try to.
answers.
Yeah. I mean, mostly they talk to me. Just the data that we get, right?
They're not good listeners?
That's like a nerd answer. I don't know.
I'll take it.
We nerd out here. It's cool. This is the nerd-free zone. He was with
As
us.
in, you're a free nerd. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not free of nerds.
I don't know.
We don't pay the nerds. It's free nerds.
There you
He
go.
was with us at Build My Future too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What
that
were you
was-
doing out there?
That was a pretty fun event. We had our geoprobe there, so we could kind of at least demo some things that we do with soil sampling, groundwater sampling.
Which to me still sounds like the most inappropriate name of a probe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The geoprobe.
So, well, I can come up with worse names, but we're talking about kids. So, so like AJ was teaching him how to run a scissor lift. I was teaching him how to do a boom lift. But you were doing what with them?
Yeah, we had some hands-on activities, getting them to actually, touch the soil, looking at it, trying to describe it, soil texture, things like that. And then, we mocked up a little monitoring well so they could see how to
Cool.
do water sampling. And,
Nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
yeah,
Welcome to your
yeah.
to your expedition, kids.
Yeah.
Pick up some dirt.
Right.
Okay, so what do we do? No, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Good. Now you have dirt. Excellent.
Well, and it's always fun working with kids because they have no idea what to do,
Right,
a lot of
right.
times. So it's like I'm trying to tell them how to do it, and then they're not doing it correct. So it's like, okay, give me that. Let me show you.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So it's
right.
hard. It's hard to be kind of that teacher in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would think that environmental stuff would be super popular because, like, I got kids at home, right? And they know way more about the environment than I did when I was a kid. My environmental teacher was Captain Planet. You
Right.
know? And
Yeah, there's a lot out there now.
and now, like, the environmental topic is so big.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
pushed so hard everywhere. I think some kids would be like, yeah, I'm going to save the planet. That's what I'm going to do when I grow up. Did you see any kids excited about
I
the
got a lot of blank
environmental?
stares.
Okay. So that's a no?
Well, I mean, I think there was some kids that were definitely interested, but I was pushing a lot of information all at once, like,
Right.
within a couple minutes.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
Yeah, a little system shock. They're
yeah,
like, this is a lot.
yeah, that's a lot. So then they would just go right next to us and hop on the drywall stilts, which was really fun to watch.
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
way.
yeah.
It's
That was
That
fantastic.
actually very
seems kind of
entertaining on mine.
dangerous.
Yeah, it was incredibly dangerous.
No mats. They just threw kids on drywall stilts.
Yeah,
huh?
but
Well,
I
they gave
mean-
them a big cane, and then there was a guy that would hold their hand and take them with
Okay.
them. So like they kind of had some, but I mean,
All
still,
right.
to be fair, like these were people who'd never been on stilts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were lined up for it. So that
I had a
was-
kid who was super pumped to go on the scissor lift, and he's like, "I'm gonna let you know I'm terrified of heights." I was like, "Well, you can control it the whole way up and down, man." He was like, "All right, cool."
Right.
I was like, "You go as high as you want, but I mean, not really, because it only goes 19 feet. So if you want to go higher, then I'm sorry." We went up maybe like 2 foot, and he was like, "This is awesome." I was like, "You want to go any higher?" He was like, "Absolutely not." I was like,
I've
"Are you
never
sure?"
felt more alive.
Yeah, he was thrilled. We went back down. He was like, "Woo!" He's like, "That was awesome. Thanks, man." I was like, "You betcha."
Yeah.
Great day about that one. He was thrilled to do 2 full feet.
Oh yeah. it
What was
a
the most
blast.
exciting event in there where the kids were gravitating towards? Was it the drywall stilts?
Yeah,
or-
I mean they were lined up next to us, or they had some sort of hammer schlagen kind of thing
Oh, yeah,
going on
yeah.
there.
They
in
were
the
playing-
center.
Which
They were
is
playing
originally
Stump.
The
Yeah.
drinking game.
a German
Yeah, right.
drinking game, but they
Right.
they kidified it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then there's a bunch of kids standing around learning to play drinking games, and I was
Right,
like,
exactly.
I don't know.
The big
about
hit
this.
on the outside was this one company had this huge bulldozer, and they put a teeny basketball hoop on it. The kind that goes like behind your door
Oh yeah.
in your house,
Yeah.
and they had little basketball foam, teeny,
Oh,
not
yeah,
real
okay.
basketballs. That was the biggest hit outside.
Really? 'Cause
That was
what
just
were
a
you doing?
group of kids just playing basketball all day.
Oh. Well, I mean, maybe to them it made sense. They were like, we can wrap our head around this, throwing a ball into a hoop.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like, hey, come drive the boom lift. I had a steady stream all day.
Yeah.
But still, the crowd was at the basketball hoop. But what do you?
I was surprised how many kids went over to the welding station right next to you.
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
They just kept going over there.
Yeah.
Oh, but I did notice they had people like going and fishing out groups. I was by myself. Like whenever I would run out of a group, I'd be like, "Hey, do you guys want to drive a scissor lift?" They'd be like, "We can drive it." I was like, "Yeah, get over here." And then I'd have this big group for a while. Man, there was these two folks going from the welding booth, like walking all the way up, being like, "Hey, you guys want to go weld over there?"
Yeah.
And the kids were like, "Heck yeah!" And they would
Cool.
walk. Yeah, so they kind of
makes
they
sense.
figured it out. I think next year I'm gonna need a helper
Or a
Somebody going in.
loudspeaker. You'd be
I
like a
am a
fire
loudspeaker.
crier, like step right up, type of thing.
I did Kermit last time.
Yeah,
That
I was gonna say
that was
a-
Aaron's Kermit this time.
Pretty good Kermit.
Yeah, not bad.
I wasn't going for Kermit, but I'll take it.
You
So
failed successfully.
Kermit Defoe.
Oh, see, now when he's trying, it's not.
Yeah, it was better.
Maybe
It
I
was
got
better.
a better
Yeah,
Miss
you got.
Piggy.
It's got to be casual.
Okay,
I have a
so
better Miss Piggy.
anyway, Impact 7G.
Yep.
Tell us like what you guys do. Obviously, water sampling
Mm-hmm.
and soil analysis.
Yep. Soil sampling.
What do you look for in the soil?
I mean, basically, a lot of the sites that we're dealing with when we take the geoprobe out are, phase 2 environmental site assessment properties. So maybe something was identified in a phase 1, like a leaking underground storage
So
tank
you're
or
already
something.
over my head.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say let's
so-
assume.
Oh, okay.
for the
Let me-
listeners,
Yeah,
not,
for
not
the-
for
Oh,
me.
yes,
yeah.
of
Let's
course.
assume people
yes.
know what phase 2 means.
Yes, let me-
if you could please.
We're safety dudes.
Yeah,
Take-
I
yes.
obviously know. In fact,
Yeah.
after this, I'm going to teach a class
Yep,
on
that's
phase
right.
1, 2, and 3,
Yeah, and 4.
and
Sure.
end phase.
I do.
Obviously.
I do the 4 stuff.
Oh, perfect.
Well, yeah.
I see, and so we don't need it explained.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the listener,
Yeah.
the listener may need it explained.
Let me take your hand and take you on a journey here. So,
He saw right through it. All right.
yeah, so I mean, phase 1s are a lot if, property is being transferred, large property, potential gas stations, maybe being redeveloped, things like that. So phase 1 gives us kind of a basic regulatory record search to see if there was any potential issues
Is
previously.
this a law?
So you're not in the ground
this
yet.
has to be done on a sale?
Not necessarily.
Okay, do buyers just request it?
A
Like,
lot of it's the lender itself
oh,
that might
makes
require
more
it,
sense.
right?
This reminds me a lot of when we did the greatest, and you had to talk about the different phases and steps of doing HAZWOPER.
Okay.
Phase 1 is the same, right? Where you're doing your paperwork end. You're not actually on
Yeah.
the field.
I mean, we go out
You're
and we
getting the
visit.
history.
Yeah, we get the history, but we go out, we do a site visit,
Take
look around.
pictures.
Yep, take
right?
pictures.
But it's all
But that's all above ground,
Right.
just taking a look at what's there.
nothing hands-on yet.
Right, not yet.
Okay.
But yeah, then we get to phase 2, which maybe if we identified something we would want to investigate.
And that's where you bust out the geoprobe.
Yeah, that's right. We start punching holes, so that's
Yeah.
a good time.
A
So
probe that punches.
Yeah.
The punching probe.
Sounds good. Sounds like a name of a car.
I like
too.
it, the
The
punching
That's
probe.
a
the Geo
direct
probe.
push.
Well, I
I
mean, they
think.
had the Ford probe.
Yeah, and Geo Metro.
Yeah.
So it's just a combo.
They
It's a
needed.
Geo
They missed
probe.
it. They could have done a crossover, and then it would have punched holes and
so,
stuff.
So phase 2, you're actually sampling.
Yeah, doing some subsurface investigation, see what's
like
underground.
bad?
so.
Like if you came back or you gave your results to the lender or whomever,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Whoa," what would freak them out?
Dead bodies.
I mean, well, I think we have gone through a body before.
Wow.
I want to say that's what our driller was saying the other day. I don't know the ins and outs of that,
Right.
so I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
so that would be a bad dead body.
Right? Yeah.
What
that
is this?
would-
Well, that's a.
But that's
piece
not
of-
too bad.
If it's not supposed
I
to
mean,
be
like
there.
humanistically, it's bad, but not like for the sale of the property. Bring the police
Right,
in.
yeah,
They'll
they're
take
more-
it out. You don't got to take out tons of dirt.
Yeah, they're more worried about if there's some sort of ground contamination, and then
50 bodies. That'd be
yeah,
bad.
that might be bad. Yeah, we might have other
One
issues at that
sampling?
point.
That'd be impressive.
That would not be good. But
So, like, you guys ever come across like radioactive material or
not that I'm aware of.
No?
Are you testing for it if they ask you to or no?
No.
no? So we wouldn't.
So we don't
wouldn't
know.
But arsenic.
Yeah, we're looking at maybe RCRA metals.
Okay.
I remember RCRA.
Yeah.
yeah,
Don't ask
resource-
me what. Oh, you got it.
Resource Conservation Recovery Act.
Yeah.
It's a law, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
The
this
RCRA
is
Act.
this is very close to the
Yeah. Well, the
HAZWOPER.
environmental.
Yeah.
HAZWOPER,
Well, and you
that's
have
where
to-
our two worlds collide.
And you have to have HAZWOPER to do the sampling that we do for those. So.
Right.
Oh,
Cool.
snap.
Nice.
Yep.
So if you need an 8-hour annual refresher, we could do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you'll be teaching most of it.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
We teach sampling in that.
we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking for oils, staining. We use a photo, PID.
Ionization?
Yes,
Yeah.
photo ionization detector.
Which has cobalt in it, doesn't it?
I'm not sure what's in it. I know our XRFs have
Yes,
cobalt.
the XRF.
Yeah.
That's like a radioactive. Like,
Yes.
It's highly regulated by the government. Who has those? And
Yep. Yeah, we go through a whole process with
So
our
are you
XRFs.
supposed to just have one?
No.
not like black market where no one
Nobody
knows you
knows
have
of the
one,
one
'cause
that
you
I have?
You have cobalt, dude.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
cobalt or cadmium.
Perfect.
There's
Yeah.
a couple different
Both
ones. that
not
they
good
use.
stuff for you.
So winky face. I don't have that.
And XRF, so the PID. So you're using those.
That tells us volatile organic compounds, basically in parts per billion. So if
Wow.
there's something there that's volatilizing, so typically if we get a good hit on that, then that's the sample that goes to the lab.
Now volatile would be, we're talking like fires and explosions, or what?
Oh,
What does volatile mean?
Well,
when
we're talking
organics.
I mean, if we're talking about like gasoline, oil, diesel, waste
Okay.
oil, things that give off a vapor, basically.
Okay.
So I heard that where I used to work on the other side of town, it's now a different business. But back in the day, it was a rail yard
Sure.
where they would fill with diesel.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told, like, when they did that phase 2 stuff over there, the diesel, like, there was so much spilled diesel over the years, like, you could reclaim it and use it. Like,
Oh, sure.
It was just
Holy
like,
smokes.
yeah, it was just like Diesel City.
You just got to process the ground, and then
Yeah.
like here is
Yeah,
your
yeah.
Yeah,
several
we've-
tons of diesel.
We've had some sites where we, if it contaminates the groundwater,
Right.
you're pulling your sample up and you have like an inch of free product is what we call it.
Oh wow.
So
Here's some free stuff.
yeah, here's free product.
Wow. There was a site too down by the plants, an old tannery.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think that was probably a hazardous waste site. A lot of chromium in the ground out
Oh, yeah.
there. Probably a lot of remediation.
Yeah.
There's maps where you could look up all these like sites that are super contaminated.
Oh yeah.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, and like if we're dealing with brownfield sites,
Yes,
those
yes,
are all
that's what
of
I'm
them.
thinking of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, which Sioux City just got their brownfield assessment grant. They approved that, so that's pretty exciting for the city. Hopefully, they can find something to fix up.
So they got money to find a site contaminated and then to fix it.
And do some assessments. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
So,
And they'll hire you to do that, right?
oh, we'll see.
You got to bid it and
Yeah,
stuff.
you got to bid.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's qualification based. So
Locally, though, there can't be too many other people that do that.
I mean, there's a few. Maybe
you're the
out
coolest,
of
though,
Omaha.
right?
Right. I like to think
Obviously.
so. I mean, I really liked. I was gonna try to jump in on the cultivating mass portion of the discussion. I've been doing that for a couple of years. Body by tacos.
Nice.
That's
Perfect.
Yes. Yes.
Dirty
you watch,
bulk.
You watch It's Always Sunny?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's time to stop
Yeah,
cultivating and start harvesting.
Right.
Okay. I was like, what is he talking about? Cultivating masks?
Yeah,
And
cultivating mass.
And then mass. But I thought he
Mass.
said mass.
Yeah.
I'm like, he listened to our COVID episode? Like, what is he talking
Oh,
about? Yeah. No, I got it now.
He is. He's growing
Yeah.
masks. Right. Pretty soon he'll be harvesting masks when it's mask season.
Mask season.
It's a
that's
good
right.
time also before Halloween to harvest your masks.
Right.
People want them. After Halloween, not as much.
So let's
He
talk
just lets
about.
me go on
Yeah, I
for
know.
like several of them. Aaron just politely waits while I do my terrible joke, and then I continue on.
He did a joke in our last one that he had explained to us because we didn't understand it.
I made it too fast, and nobody caught it except for me, and I'm over here dying. Like, I'm having a great time.
Right.
I'm like slapping my leg. I'm like, oh, that was
Me
good.
and the guest host were trying, but it just didn't come.
Yep.
But
I liked it.
as far as like evil safety dude material, worker safety,
Yeah.
how do what you do tie into workplace safety? Like, because you're not just doing ground stuff. Like,
Oh no.
Like, say I'm in an old building plant and we're going to do some renovating and I'm worried about hazardous stuff that my employees are going to be exposed to. Could we call you in? And
Sure.
You'll sample non-ground and non-water sources too.
Right. Yeah. If we're looking at renovation, then we're obviously going to be talking about asbestos is a big one.
All right.
And then
So you can test for that.
Yep.
People love asbestos.
Come and grab samples, send them to a lab.
So you got a PPE up for that because you're disturbing it, right?
Yeah, when we collect the samples, majority of what we have is half mask, air purifying.
Do you cut a hole in your mask for your cigarette like other asbestos guys do?
I think it seems like a great idea.
I don't smoke, but I do use that for my coffee.
Right? Yeah.
You just put the
Get
little
a
straw.
Yeah. in. Yeah.
I mean,
The
come on.
smoker is safer than you
Well, yeah, they have the little filtered thing.
because the
stuck in there.
filter is the filter,
But they have to take it out.
but
though.
it's not HEPA.
Nah, it's not.
No, it just sticks in there and they keep
They
it
just
there.
leave it.
Yeah,
so that
and every time you breath in, you're just like, it's like a
just drawn out.
cigarette
But
bong.
you would think like when you breathe out though, it would go. It's just like pressurized to just pop it out.
I don't know how they do it, but I've seen the pictures of it.
There you go.
They're in asbestos abatement.
Yeah.
And you know how hard it is to get all that gear off to go to
Yep.
lunch or take a
Oh
break.
yeah, and you
so
got to
just-
come through the 3-cell decon chamber,
Yeah, so
shower.
let's just pop a
Perfect.
hole in the mask. Just
Right.
work
Yeah.
around.
Right.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I just take my hood off while I'm in there. Like I just, I'm like, okay, I made it in. Nobody's looking. Take off my asbestos
Right.
clothes. I'm comfortable.
The worst is when you see asbestos crew like on a roof, like taking up some asbestos containing material,
Sure.
and they're all tricked out. And then there's some miscellaneous other contractor working on another project 2 feet from them with no PPE.
Right.
And they're just like together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lack of communication.
Yeah,
at
that's
that
bad.
point. That's
Yeah.
it's not
What,
good.
what are you guys doing? Oh, we're removing dangerous asbestos.
Right.
Yeah.
Should
That-
we be
that-
wearing PPE? No.
That you've been breathing in all day now.
All day.
So besides asbestos, what else would be an remodel kind of job
Sure.
that we
Yeah.
should be worried about as employees?
Yeah, so if you were, an employee and conducting the renovation, you'd want to watch out for lead-based paint as well, which
Is that bad in this area?
delicious.
we're a river town, big railroad town. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Excellent.
Homes, businesses.
They still make lead-based paint?
No.
Okay.
Well, at least what we consider lead-based paint.
Because they still make asbestos-containing products.
Yeah, I think we've seen it mostly on roofing materials.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the indoor department is really tapered off.
It's kind of some non-friable materials, but
What are some date ranges of paint you thinking?
yeah. So what we consider lead-based paint is 1 milligram per centimeter squared, and that was that was 1960 when
Okay.
the level of lead in paint was lowered to that amount. So then that is now today what we consider lead-based paint.
So pre-1960 is worse?
Pre-1960 is way worse.
But after 1960, it was still there?
After 1960, it was still used. It was just used less.
Okay. Like above an action level or permissible exposure level? Like,
if we're talking lead in air, then that's the PEL is 50 micrograms per meter cubed.
Okay.
But as far as lead in the actual paint, the level that we consider lead was put in place in 1960.
Okay.
And then in 1978, it dropped again.
Okay.
And then 2009, it lowered even further. So
if I got something that's been painted 1960 or before, and we're cutting into that, ripping it out, probably a good chance I'm disturbing some lead-based paint.
oh yeah, especially if you're in a commercial or industrial setting,
How does
steel.
that get in my body? Is it a respirable
Yeah,
type
so
deal?
for worker safety, it's more, inhalation is the main
Okay.
route of exposure for adults.
Okay.
And that's, working on things that contain lead. That could be pipes or anything like that. But yeah, paint, if you're disturbing it, most likely you're breathing it in at that point.
Who do you say trade-wise is the most exposed to lead-based paint hazards?
Most exposed, I assume it's, all the people doing home renovations.
Yeah,
things like that.
residential guys,
Yeah, residential
right?
construction
Like,
companies. Painters.
Painters, because they're scraping, right?
Yep.
And
Scraping.
then
They should be wet scraping, but that doesn't
Okay.
happen all the time.
Yeah.
Or
just-
ever.
Yeah.
yeah. So, what about like a gutter guy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility there, especially on those old gutters. If you're
Right.
dealing with those
Oh,
old
because they're
U-shaped.
painted. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get the old
Yeah.
U-shaped ones or the
Right.
kind of octagonal downspouts, things like that.
What about a window guy?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
windows. Yeah, absolutely windows. We put a lot of window companies through lead safe renovator courses.
Because that's a law, right?
Yes, if you're doing work on a pre-1978 home, you have to have at least one person assigned to the job that's a lead safe renovator.
That's an 8-hour course.
Yes,
You
initial.
go through a 4-hour. How often?
4-hour refresher every 3 years.
Okay, that ain't bad.
No,
So
it's
no, it's
And they go to
pretty
you
easy.
for that. You could put on those courses.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
So I try to keep it interesting during
Yeah,
the
that's
class.
important.
Yeah.
I remember you taught lead-based paint at our last safety conference we did.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That was
Yeah.
I didn't have quite the showing I thought I would have, but
Right.
it was fun having
Yeah.
you guys in there, and
Yeah.
I like to just talk about it in general. It's
Yeah.
When it would get quiet, I'd give a nice woo.
yeah.
So you just kind of hear it in the back of the room.
There were some people that you were freaking out though.
Oh yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, because like in-home daycares,
Yep.
it's like a thing,
Mhm.
right? I mean, there's
Oh, yeah.
big commercial daycares, obviously,
yeah.
but
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many in-home daycares,
Right.
Yep.
And the amount of lead-based paint that these kids could be exposed to. Now, this is not an employee issue,
Right.
but that was something I remember that you were talking about.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's
and-
worse on kids, right?
Oh yeah, because they absorb way more than adults. So
Right.
just because their bodies are processing it
Right.
differently.
And they're still
so-
growing and
Yep.
developing, and
Yep. So
that
they're
level-
taking in as much as they can from whatever's coming into their body. So
I first learned about lead issues when we were making the shooting range.
sure.
Because we had to have a lot of policies on that,
Mhm.
cleaning those filters and all the lead and reclaiming the lead and just washing your hands and because even those guys playing with lead and picking up brass and then washing their clothes with everybody else's clothes in the home and
Yep.
the kids' clothes. It was an issue for that too. Same like asbestos,
Yeah, and that's a lot what we worry about with kind of the commercial or the worker exposure is then the take-home exposure.
Mhm.
So like if you're not wearing proper PPE when you're disturbing lead-based paint,
right?
you get home and the first thing your kids do come up and give you a hug.
Right.
You
Or
know,
you
there's-
go to,
If you're
yeah.
a good dad,
You're right. Yeah.
They might run from you. Dad's home, run.
Oh no, get underneath the sink.
but yeah, I mean, no matter where you do, if you let's say you go straight to the laundry room to take it all off, now you're gonna get it all over everybody else's clothes. You know, what I
Sure.
mean, it's
Yeah, just
Yeah,
walking through the
taking it
house
home
to
is-
get to the laundry room, anything like that.
taking a
So-
break on the couch or sitting there. You're gonna put it right where
Yep.
everybody else hangs out. I mean, yeah, that's
So
a serious one.
In the course, you're probably teaching Tyvek suit, right? Or
Yeah.
something like that, and
Yep.
don't even expose your clothes.
Yep, that's the main thing that
Okay.
I suggest. I
Right.
mean, that's not a requirement.
Okay.
They can have, depending on the exposure level, there's different things that OSHA has as far as providing worker clothing or disposable clothing.
So the Tyvek suit is pretty formal, but what about the bow Tyvek suit?
The bow tie. Oh,
Yeah,
That's-
that would be awesome when you want to look good.
when you want to
right.
look good,
Tearing down
Maybe
lead.
there's an event going
Right.
on, and you want to.
because the Tyvek is it's
Yes.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But the bow Tyvek would be much better.
Yes.
So as far
He
as
just moves on.
OSHA
He doesn't even give me a giggle or anything.
and
He's just like,
EPA
anyways.
Well, I'm kind of excited to pick an environmental guy's brain.
Hopefully,
We
I can
spend
answer.
our
Yeah.
brains, our time. If we're in a book, it's in the OSHA regs.
Mhm.
Usually.
29 CFR, 1910, 1926. That's where we live.
Yep.
And I know there's a big lead thing in there, and you were
Yeah.
just referencing OSHA, so you spend some time in that as well.
Yeah, 1929.62,
Ooh, fancy.
lead and construction
knows it.
standard.
But how much time do you spend in other regs like EPA, DNR?
Mainly in Iowa, since lead, if we're talking lead, it's Iowa Administrative Code 641, Chapter 70.
Ooh, fancy.
And so that's, yeah. if you want to go to sleep, read some of these. So, but that's the main one for residential.
How much
so
do
that's
those
just-
change from state to state?
A lot of the states are,
They should be
pretty
close?
similar
Okay.
because the EPA basically authorized the program in Iowa.
Okay.
So there's like a
So
state
same
like,
with OSHA.
yeah, similar. Yep.
Pretty similar state to state, but you
Yep.
still got to know your own state laws.
Correct. And
There
then you
might
have
be-
to, if you're going to operate in a different state, you have to get their license, which
Okay.
The good thing about getting a license in Iowa is we have higher test standards, more training hours.
Okay.
Oh, so
And
then if you try to
so
go get one somewhere else, it
It's
won't be
very easy to get reciprocity
Nice.
in other states.
Do you still got to put people's picture on the certificates?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes. I've got one right now. Mine looks absolutely terrible.
Wow.
I
You like
look
a mugshot.
I look like garbage.
perfect. You want them to be
So-
outrageous, though. You want to be like, "This is me." And then, well, you look good today. Thank you.
Thanks.
We have 500 safety and security courses we teach, and probably, I don't know how many, 100 plus are certificate level.
Sure.
Mhm.
But nobody that we're allowed to certify through makes us put people's pictures on the certificates.
Doesn't mean I don't draw pictures on some of them.
Yeah. Even on the cards, you guys, it's strict.
Yeah.
You guys got
And
to
the-
get their social security
Yeah.
numbers, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, that's good.
What I do, we've got the Amanda portal now through IDPH, and so they collect that information.
Okay.
Because I always feel weird dealing with other people's social security numbers.
Yep.
I
shouldn't have this.
right.
Why do I have
And
this?
I do not have a secure way to store this. I
Yeah.
mean, we got password protection
You
on
eat
everything,
them all.
but
After you enter it, you just eat that paper,
right.
and it's gone forever.
Well, we had students that were like, I'm not doing it. I'm not giving it to you. You
No
know?
picture.
And they're like, as the instructor, you're like the middleman. You're like, well, I'm supposed to get it from you. Let me
Right.
call the state and see if they'll still pass you.
Right.
Now, them tests, those are crazy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Our tests are easy that AJ and I do.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
super user friendly. This isn't grade school anymore. We want to make sure you're a competent.
True or false? Don't run people over.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Yeah, we write our own tests. Sometimes we have to administer a very specific test depending on who we're teaching for.
Sure.
But
Right.
I know on that lead side though,
Yeah,
they got to score so high, and they're just done if they don't, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's 80% for lead.
And
So-
you don't get to
Okay.
make the questions, do you? They're like, this is stuff they have to know.
So I'm actually creating a EBL inspector class, and EBL is elevated blood lead
Okay.
inspector. It's something
Cool.
that the state used to teach, but the EPA said that they didn't want them teaching it anymore, so they sent it
Okay.
out to us instructors.
All right, cool.
So I've actually come up with questions for that exam. It's just
Oh, that's nice.
they get approved through the state. So
Fancy.
the state tells me this question's way too easy to answer
Oh,
or something.
okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
so you actually do like, well, okay. Cool.
So it's a little bit
little
of a
overhead.
process, but
They're
yeah.
like,
Yeah, well,
This
that's
is
pretty
free.
cool. Those regs are just really through the roof on the lead.
Oh yeah,
training.
they're really thorough. The requirements to get a license as an inspector are pretty crazy. I mean, they almost force you to have a 4-year degree or a lot of
Dang.
experience in construction or health and safety. So
Let me ask you to guess something.
okay,
All right. If you had a guess percentage-wise, how many workers in Iowa are supposed to have that training but don't?
I'd say it's over 50%.
Wow.
For sure
that don't have the training.
that don't. have
And they need
RRP?
Yeah.
What's that? Renovating?
Yeah,
remodeling,
in
painting,
Iowa, we call it the lead safe renovator.
Lead safe renovator.
But yeah, RRP is what the EPA calls it.
Okay.
Yeah, renovation, remodel,
So, like-
and painting.
Window guys, gutter guys, siding guys,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
painters, even HVAC and plumbers. They're drilling through them walls all the time.
Yeah, and that one's kind of on the fence because there's a certain amount that they have to disturb, and sometimes they don't necessarily
Right, just
consider
punching
that.
a hole
Right.
through a wall.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they don't necessarily consider that enough to need
Right.
the license.
Okay.
But it's mainly geared towards the painters, construction folks. So
Okay.
Makes sense.
So
the
is
people who are probably
is,
going to have their hands on it.
exactly, yeah.
is paint the primary concern for lead, the carrier?
Yes, as far as children go, and then adults if they're on those jobs. It's the paint itself, but then what happens to that paint while it's being disturbed. For children, their main route of exposure is ingestion. So they're
Okay.
physically picking up paint chips or picking up soil that's contaminated. And
I've heard that
hand-to-mouth
soil could be contaminated like all around the perimeter of a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of houses
Absolutely.
from a scrape and repaint job 10 years ago.
Yeah, let's say
Or-
it had paint
yeah.
from way back in
Yeah,
the day.
they just scrape it, falls on the ground, they don't clean it up, it
Mhm.
gets covered in dirt over time, and
Yeah, now that
does
house
it
is
like
surrounded.
permeate into the soil? and
Yeah,
now
it just
that's-
leaches into the soil.
Okay,
Um,
leach, that's the appropriate word.
but it doesn't, it doesn't move very far.
Okay.
We're sampling the top, half inch of the soil, basically. 5/8 of an inch is the exact amount or depth that we're supposed to go.
Wow.
It's kind of a weird measurement.
Yeah, why not just call it an inch?
I don't
It's
know.
not like it's going to make a big difference.
Right. It really doesn't, because you're taking a bunch of subsamples anyway. But
So what about, let's say you've got, daycare homes or older homes, and people are looking at shopping around and checking them out, and you see that old curly, the paint's peeling up and stuff.
Yeah, the way it cracks.
But if nobody's disturbing it, is it kind of in the asbestos category, where if it's just hanging out there, nobody's scraping it, it's up high, maybe you can't reach it, is it still a bother, or?
Yeah, so in that case, we consider just a crack in the paint to be deterioration.
Sure.
So that's the beginning of the hazard, basically.
Okay.
So it being peeling and stuff, that's, definitely considered a hazard and would need to get fixed. And then the issue causing that needs to get fixed as well, which 90% of the time is moisture.
Okay.
That's what's causing paint to peel and chip.
Can you fix it just by encapsulating it, or do you got to remove it?
So you don't have to remove it. We have, two different types of there's three types of abatement really, but paint removal, we have encapsulation, which is using basically maybe a fiber reinforced liquid to encapsulate the main
asbestos.
Yeah, like the main way that it's sticking to the surface is just through adhesion.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then we have enclosures. So like when you see the outside of a house that has metal coil stock around like the window casings.
I don't know
window
what that
trim.
is.
It's like, thin metal sheeting that gets bent and then attached with nails. I
Okay.
don't know if you guys have seen that. That's pretty common around here,
Okay.
especially through the lead grant.
So would the
that
house
Sioux
look
City
like
has.
they're prepping for zombie attacks? Is that what you're telling me? There'd
No,
be
like
like a
just-
metal sheet over the windows?
No, not all the way over the window. Just the trim.
Okay.
Basically the trim and the sill.
A lot of
that's
window
pretty
guys, they got benders, and they're already bending metal around all those windows and
Yep.
stuff.
So you just put that right over the lead and call it good?
Yeah, as long as you back caulk it and seam it and caulk the seams to make it a dust tight seal is what we call it. So
Because that dust coming out can actually be a problem.
yeah, just from the paint deteriorating
Okay.
causes dust. And again, children with hand to mouth activity, that's
right.
All right.
that
I
gets
mean,
on.
everybody. We all walk.
Well,
Eventually, we're
yeah.
all sticking something in our mouth.
Yeah.
You're gonna
Yeah.
eat, or you're gonna go make yourself a drink or something. I mean,
Sure.
Yeah. Eventually, you're
And
gonna
that's another thing with worker safety is there's a requirement to have, hand washing facilities,
Yep.
making sure
Wow.
employees are washing their hands and face before they go on a break. No smoking in the containment area.
in
So-
the container.
Let's say there was some renovating, remodeling, painting going on. OSHA shows up.
Sure.
What would they ask this contractor who's doing this stuff?
So they're most likely going to ask them for their exposure assessments. So if you're doing work and disturbing lead-based paint, the Lead and Construction Standard has a requirement for you to do some type of negative exposure assessment or air monitoring.
Is that going to be similar for things like silica and asbestos as well? So, like, let's say they're doing a bunch of work and they're like, "Oh, we see here you were doing work with asbestos. What were your exposure monitoring?"
Sure.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in the sense that the air monitoring has to be done. The difference is with lead, if you've done this activity and had an exposure assessment to show that you're under the PEL and under the action level, then, you don't have to have, like, PPE when you're
What
doing
kind
it.
of would be the get out of jail free card for that contractor to hand that compliance officer and say, yes, we did this? Is it a policy? Is it lab results? What is it?
Yeah, they would need to keep records of that air monitoring or have records that what they're working on isn't lead.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
Now,
that's-
when you're
that's a
saying
big
air
one.
monitoring, are you talking about like dosimetry, like an 8-hour time weighted average, or are you just talking about like a one-shot sample?
Yeah, it's an 8-hour time weighted
Okay,
average
you're right.
and
So we're doing-
personal pumps, in the breathing
Okay.
zone.
You got
2 liters per minute.
filters that
Mhm.
filters are designed for lead.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's real
it's-
similar to silica then, and
Yeah.
hexavalent chromium and some of
Yeah,
them
the
other
cylinder, it's the cassette is kind of, it's shorter, but I don't know. It's hard to explain. I
Okay.
guess it's shorter and wider. I guess in circular.
So that reminds me of silica, where OSHA's requiring us to do that, and then if we've done enough of those tests and they're all good, we're under the action level.
Correct.
But we still need to do it and document it and all that.
And it's only good for the activity that you're doing. So if one person's, wet scraping, you have to have monitoring for that. If one
Right.
person's
Yes.
like completely doing paint removal, like stripping paint from a sill, you would need monitoring for that.
And then call you for that,
Yeah, absolutely.
because I just can't see a contractor doing that.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no.
Like,
So there's a lot of them that don't even have the negative exposure monitoring done yet. So
I was
there's
trying to come up with some of the other areas I know you guys might be into. So you do the big, the ground monitoring stuff. You'll come and check for contaminants. You'll do, phase 1 and phase 2. You're doing a lot of home stuff, a lot of residential, a lot of commercial buildings. You're talking renovations.
Yep.
We did, a bunch of chemicals. We did lead, asbestos, probably, maybe some silica stuff.
do you guys play with silica?
I haven't. And
Okay.
I don't think we've gotten into doing any monitoring for anyone yet.
You guys
Okay.
ever do anything for those gases or contaminants that come up from the ground for like homes, residential, or buildings, things like
What's that, radon?
radon,
radon,
and
yes.
like the one that Aaron got involved with in South Sioux,
Hydrogen
things like
sulfide.
H2S coming back into buildings.
I wish he was in town, because I would have just pawned that whole job off on him.
You guys ever get involved in any of those? Well, so
I mean,
break it up.
we've
Like,
got
do you guys
some-
ever do radon?
So radon's kind of an interesting one. We're working on getting we do have a measurement specialist, I believe is what
Okay.
they call it.
Okay.
So we're working on getting our firm certified to be able to do radon. The only difference is, a lot of radon companies also do the mitigation systems. And so we're more on the testing side, not the
Okay.
actual. Similar with like lead-based paint, we'll do the inspection, but we won't do the abatement.
Oh, I
Okay.
got you. So somebody's like, "Hey, do I have radon?" You're like, "Yes," and then they're like, "What do I do?" You're like,
Right.
"Not my problem."
Right. So,
Gotcha.
and the money is really in, the mitigation system, not necessarily.
But I think
installing
it's-
fans
it's-
and ventilation.
You
and
probably more honesty in what you're doing. 'Cause
Yeah.
if it's like, do I have radon? Yes. And for a low price,
Right,
$10,000,
exactly.
I can
I've-
install this system for you.
I've always, there's always kind of that conflict of interest
Yeah.
when you have someone
Yeah.
doing the testing and
you
installing.
have no
but-
motivation to tell them yes or no,
Right.
other than the truth.
Right.
So-
Because
exactly.
you're charging regardless of the results.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's-
not like results-based pay.
Yeah. If it comes back from the lab at this, that's what it is. So-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now,
All
how
right,
about
cool.
what about stuff like sewer backups, H2S, methane?
I'm sure we've done some. Me being out here in Sioux City, my main focus has been lead-based paint and kind of more of our basic, like the phase 1s and
Okay.
things like that.
Is there a phase 3?
I am not sure. I think
So we
that's
got phase 1 and phase 2?
I think phase 3 might be the actual cleanup if it's
Okay.
needed. But
I think that's when you're
don't,
actually,
I don't
like-
know if phase 3 is a real thing or not. I'm
So
not
let's
sure.
pretend I'm not following any lead rules, and I'm disturbing it.
Sure.
I'm breathing it. It's going in my mouth, the dust. I'm ingesting it.
I'm putting handfuls in my pockets.
Yes.
Yeah, and like
Let's
I do
save
this
it for later.
every
Yes.
day for years.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen to me?
Well, I mean, then you've got, kind of the dose response effect at that point. You're just going to be building up lead in your body. The first place it shows up is in your blood. Then it, if you continue the exposure, it ends up in soft tissue, your organs.
I don't have soft tissue.
Yeah.
No, we determined this earlier.
Rock hard.
Aaron's only made of extremely hard tissue.
All right, so like when you say soft tissue, what do you mean?
Yeah, so we're talking like organs, liver,
Okay.
heart.
Yeah, I don't
things
have
like
those.
that.
No,
Yeah.
just
No,
kidding.
no, I don't have a heart.
His blood just goes
All right,
through by
so-
sheer will
So
force.
my body's
sure.
not getting rid of it.
I mean, it is, but probably not the amount that, if you're talking like, putting lead in your pockets and
Yes.
taking it out and stuff.
Is it like fat soluble, water soluble, like, or is it not even categories like that?
I mean, it gets excreted through, urine.
That's what I
Okay.
wanted to
Like
know.
that,
Where's
so-
it coming out of me?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, but the rate at which your body gets rid of it, again, adults, we don't absorb as much as like children.
Mm-hmm.
So we can be exposed to higher amounts without having
Right.
an effect. However, you do start to see higher blood pressures, at the early stages of exposure, which is especially important for men because men
Right.
typically have issues with
this
high
blood very
pressure, so-
heavy.
I heard it
For
could
it
cause.
to pump heavy blood.
I heard it could cause strokes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you get high enough, you'll get strokes. I mean, obviously encephalopathy. Oh boy,
Encephalitis.
yeah, encephalopathy. I'm so bad. Brain swelling.
Encephalopathy. Yeah, there we go.
I'm so bad at pronouncing that word.
It's all good.
I do
You
that
just
in
say
class
it with
all the-
authority.
I try
Yes.
to say it all the time in class, and
Encephalopathy.
I'm like, all right, brain swelling.
You just
That's
got to
it.
have something to follow up right behind it with right away, so people don't
Right.
have enough time
Yeah,
to
just
break
It's
down how you
not
said
right,
it.
it's-
Yes,
Let's go to break.
that
Like
one.
encephalopathy is that thing that we, yeah.
It's Greek. It's literally Latin and Greek,
Yeah.
all medical terminology. So
Right.
it's not English.
So also what you're telling me is to help better cultivate mass and make heavy blood.
You
I
need to
need
get
to-
a big brain.
I need to hang out with more lead
Yeah.
to become
Yeah,
heavier.
that's right. Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
this.
Yeah, it is
And
a
when
heavy
you
metal.
deadlift,
Yes.
you will stroke out and
Yes,
die.
most likely.
No, I'll be fine.
Well, and then it gets in your bones, so then you're super fortified.
Extra. See, I'm not seeing a downside.
That doesn't sound bad.
Yeah. So what?
Well,
what
once
is the
it,
downside?
I mean, once it gets into your bone, it's kind of inaccessible, depending on which part of the bone it's in at that point.
Mhm.
But then, if if your body is needing calcium, it's going to pull from somewhere, right? So then it happens to pull the lead with it if
Oh,
it's pulling
nice.
from calcium stores, and so you basically re-expose yourself.
So lead's pretty
Good.
bad.
Yeah, it has no reason to be in anybody's body.
And
It's
by your estimation, there's many Americans on the job every day being exposed to it
yeah, absolutely.
without
And
the proper training, PPE.
yep, I'd say so.
I mean, it's what we deal with. There's some,
oh yeah.
one person dies every day from an electrocution.
Oh, yeah.
In America, and there's probably how many people in a machine every day not locked out.
Sure.
And it just goes with lead too. How many workers are, scraping paint, ripping out old windows, tearing off siding, and
Yep.
just breathing in lead and just not even giving it a care. And if you mention something, what you wuss?
Right. Yeah.
You
I
can't
eat
say
lead for
anything about
breakfast.
it.
I've done it for 30 years like this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Done it
great.
for 30 years like this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be 48 tomorrow.
And, a
and
question.
I'll die at 49.
I get questions in like our lead safe renovator courses all the time, and they're like, well, we're doing this the right way, but then we're competing against companies that aren't.
Yeah, no, that's always an issue. We
And
get that all
so-
the time.
Oh yeah.
And
Because they got to increase their bid to do it right.
Yep.
correct.
And then these unsafe people get a lower bid. They're
Yes.
getting jobs.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so
They're-
now the people who want to do it right, they're not making the money they want to make. And
Yep.
it's an issue.
Yeah, because it all that extra stuff. You got medical surveillance.
Yeah.
You've got plastic you got to use for containment.
Yeah.
Well, plus all your employees are a lot more expensive because they have to have all these special
Yep.
certificates and training, and
Yep.
it's not just somebody going, "Hey, you're gonna pull all that stuff out and throw it in a truck." Like
Yeah,
they come
and-
with all of this history.
Yeah, and if they have to wear respirators, there's pulmonary function tests and
Yeah,
all
PPE programs, and
Right.
training, and medical
So-
evaluations, fit tests. That's what AJ was doing all morning.
All morning long.
fit testing.
that. I thought that was a nice segue there.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Let us talk about morning fit test.
I
Here's
get
mask
that.
you put on now.
I get that a lot with confined space entry.
Oh yeah.
Because these contractors like, what? I now have to have at least one other person to do this job,
Yeah.
Right.
and they're like, there's no way. There's no, we're gonna lose out every bid if I gotta have double the man hours
Oh,
on
yeah.
this now.
I have to buy this expensive
Oh,
air monitor.
Yeah, you mean
and
I
use
gotta
it every time?
You mean I have to know what's in the air that I'm breathing?
Yeah.
But it's really on the man hours where they start complaining.
Oh, yeah.
Because now my bid's gonna go up, and now all my competitors who don't care about safety are gonna
Right.
win
Mhm.
all these bids, and I
Yeah.
can't function like that. And it's a tough sale, but you just got to do it because
Yeah.
like killing people's not good for business either.
Right? It's not killing people's not good for business unless you're in the business of killing.
Unless you're an assassin,
There you go.
then it's good.
Right?
But since we're not, that I know about,
Right.
Right.
it's bad. Although I just learned Tyler has 2 MMA fights.
Yeah.
Oh dang!
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So you guys gonna be meeting up in the cage here pretty soon?
I don't know.
I've been trying to get him in the gym for a long time.
I'd have to stretch quite a bit.
We talked about it a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and now we talked about it again just before we
Nice.
started recording.
That'd
And
be-
I'll tape it. I'll put it on YouTube. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
We have our IBC YouTube channel. We'll just put it on there.
Oh, just me.
Environmental health and safety versus health and safety nurse.
I've got like terrible defense, so I just soak up punches.
Perfect.
Well,
It's the Rocky approach.
We'll get
Yeah,
you all
exactly.
trained up. Give me 6 months, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then give me 6 months too with you. We'll get in shape together, right?
Okay, that
And
sounds good.
then we'll do a fundraiser
Okay. Oh, I
where
like
we'll
that.
be like, hey, do you want to try to punch a safety guy? Do you want to try to beat up the environmental guy? $500.
Yeah.
Like,
I like it.
Now, see, we're the evil safety guys. All right. So there's people that want to punch us in the face.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I mean, there's probably some people that view us maybe evil environmental guy.
Sure.
Yeah.
You do have to deliver bad
evil
news.
I mean,
environmental
yeah,
dude.
when we got to give people bad news,
Yeah.
about a property or anything like that. I mean, it's not fun for us.
They're
You're
like,
not going around and like busting workers,
Right.
though, right? Like,
No,
hey, dude,
no.
you need to encapsulate or put your 10 millimeter plastic up or whatever.
I mean, I'm more in the business, contractors that we do work with actually helping them get.
well, we help people
compliant,
too, but
so-
they hate us for
Yeah,
it.
Did you
exactly,
hear?
right.
Did you hear that? He was like actually helping.
I
I was like, Tyler.
they ask
I actually
and
help
pay
people.
us to help them.
I didn't
and
say
then
you
get
guys did
mad
that.
at us for what they hired us to do.
Oh yeah, they're very upset.
Yep.
Please come tell us what we're doing wrong. All right, no problem. You got
I
to do
suppose-
this. How
No,
dare you?
I can't
Have
do
you
that.
thought about
you
that
monster.
type of consulting, like going to a lead remediation project and just seeing if they're following the rules?
Sure. I mean, we kind of do it already with some of the grants that we work with.
Nice.
But we do, we work regularly with specific contractors so they know what we're looking for and things
Right.
like that. So,
Well, we work with specific contractors who know what we're looking for too, but they still
don't
get
care.
mad.
Oh,
when we're
yeah.
like,
They don't care.
I
dude,
know.
you're grinding. Where's your face shield? Ah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah.
Punch you in
I
your
had a guy
face.
roll his eyes right at me. I came up the stairs with his GM, like not even like his
Okay.
foreman. Like this was the guy in charge of the job site, and the guy's grinding bolts off the floor. And about 4 feet away, all of his sparks are shooting at like 3 gas cans,
Nice.
and they're all plastic.
He's doing it right then.
And he's so happy. He sees me come up the stairs. He goes, "AJ, look! I even went and got a face shield." And I was
And
like,
then you gotta break his heart. So
yep.
you go, great job. We could do this better if we
Yeah.
also.
Yeah.
Let's
And then their
zoom
their
out a little.
glee.
"Yeah."
Goes
it
into
melted.
anger.
Yeah, he was like, "How dare you?"
You evil.
He was
Couldn't
not.
you just be happy
Yeah.
for me?
No, I couldn't. Not when
You
you're about ready
always
to
got to find something.
kill
You
us all, man.
nitpicky, over the top,
Oh, yeah.
pessimistic, power tripping, evil safety dude.
See how ready he was with that one?
That was good.
He's ready.
It's been
liked
I've been in the trade a minute,
Oh yeah.
but you don't get that. So
I mean,
lot,
every
so-
once. I mean, I'll go into a house to see, look at the work, make sure it was
Okay.
done correctly, and we might see a windowsill that it was supposed to have the paint stripped off of it
Okay,
completely,
right.
and I look at the bottom side and there's still old paint there. So
okay, they took a shortcut.
Yep. So a
Yeah,
little
they got a little lazy
and
here.
yeah, I think maybe they didn't intend to take
Going
a
a little
shortcut.
too
Okay, all right,
fast.
yeah, give them
Yeah.
the benefit of the doubt. Good
yeah,
for you.
I always do that. So.
And then
polite.
you go, I know you didn't mean to do this, but one of your other employees
Yeah.
forgot this,
right.
and they're all packed up,
Yep.
ready to go, and so they're like, "Oh, you evil
Oh, yeah.
environmental dude."
Oh yeah.
How dare you? Couldn't you have just
All right.
overlooked that one
Well,
windowsill?
That makes me feel better. So
It's not just us.
You guys aren't the only ones.
So
Yeah.
when we end, because I was gonna do especially an intro,
Outro?
the evil safety dude and nice environmental guy, but now it could be the evil safety and environmental dudes.
The evil environmental health and safety.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Right back into the beginning.
Yeah.
EHS.
Yeah.
Evil
EHS.
environmental health and safety dudes. You want to give it a try?
When you in practice now, we only got like a minute and a half left anyway.
I think we just go for it. We're gonna say evil environmental health and safety dudes.
Okay, let's do it.
You can join us.
All
Okay.
right.
We'll
So,
try.
yeah, so we'll do the end and then we'll talk a little bit afterwards. So
Yeah,
we
perfect.
like a, end not in the proper place.
I'm waiting at this
okay.
point.
All right. So
I'm
here we
gonna
go.
screw this up.
We thank you all for tuning in to this special podcast where we touched on environmental safety with Tyler Silverthorn for Impact 7G, where we talked about the lead hazards. And for AJ Hanscom, I'm Aaron Icino with a co-host, Tyler Silverthorn. All together, we are the
Evil Environmental Health and Safety Dudes. See, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
yeah.
We
That
act
went
like
all right.
we act like we did that before.
I got nervous when you couldn't say Tyler.
Yeah.
But,
I was
you
like,
know,
he's already like, he's
it's-
got too much on his mind to get to it.
encephalopathy.
Yeah.
Problem.
He's still on encephalopathy.
Tyler can't do it.
yeah.
Tyler, no.
Yeah.
No, it's
Encephalopathy? Got it.
It's too
Tyler,
hard.
no.
Yeah, you have to have a more difficult name for me to pronounce.
Eh. Oh, did we even give all of your fun credentials? That's a fun thing we like to do when we introduce our co-hosts. But today we were
just
just like,
said
this is Tyler. He's freaking
Project
awesome.
manager and
Yeah,
environmental consultant. Anything else you want everybody to know from you?
Yeah,
No,
you've got a bunch of lead credentials, don't you?
Besides
Yeah.
your 2 MMA fights?
Yeah. I do. And just take a bunches.
He went to Iowa State.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Went to Iowa State. Got my bachelor's in forestry there, actually.
Cool.
In
Nice.
So it's kind of funny to go from forestry to sampling houses.
But you're
for-
still an environmental.
Yeah, but
It's still
it's
environment.
environmental. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool, man.
But yeah, I haven't gotten the chance to go study some trees in quite some time.
It's
so,
been a
Yeah.
minute.
yeah.
Well, that's
Cool.
a pretty good podcast.
Yeah,
I like-
man. And
I
we've
like
hit
it.
our hour. So
always a
yeah,
fast
and we
hour.
already ended.
We did.
Yeah, so we don't have to do the end
Yeah.
again.
This one's just gonna end.
Yeah, just cut it out. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man, it's
been
great.
wanting to get you on here a while, and keep doing what you're doing and being an evil environmental dude and saving the planet and saving the people who work. You know, it's an important job and it's thankless. I don't know if you get any thanks for what you do.
Yeah, not really. But, you know,
They're not writing you
Well,
letters.
I'm thanking you for everybody else that should. Thank
They
you for
should.
what you do, because what you do matters. And so, all right, for everybody out there, stay safe, healthy, and environmentally friendly. Don't put lead paint on the ground
or in your
and
body.
diesel.
in your pockets.
yeah, no.
All right, until next time, everybody. See you later.